All right, some breaking news at Dog Post. Brock Vandagriff, a local from Oconee County, is transferring from Georgia. He put the news out on social media, uh, and it's a piece by Matt DeBerry here, who y'all have all seen and know well. Look, it's a tough situation. Brock Vandagriff is one of the few people in college football that can run and throw effectively. But you know, I don't know this, but this says to me that probably Carson Beck is likely sticking around. I don't know how anyone could deduce something other than that from this move, but we'll just see. I know that there was a lot of talk. Well, this is the time of the year where there is discussion amongst the staff and the players about where they are, where things are going, etc. I don't think it. I mean, again, I'm not reporting that Carson Beck is coming back. I mean, I don't. But 2 and 2 is four, and we'll just see what happens. Because I think, I mean, listen, Brock Vandagriff is plenty good enough to go win a national championship as a starting quarterback. He is, and he should not. If he feels like he can go be a starter somewhere, he should do that. I mean, I saw the way Jermaine Burton acted after the game with Alabama, and I think it was a bad look for Jermaine. It was. I'm not excusing it. I heard some of the things he said, and it's, but I'm certain he got that because of the vitriol from sort of idiot Georgia fans that are out there, and their feelings were hurt because he transferred to Alabama. People shouldn't care, and people shouldn't care where Brock Vandagriff goes. I mean, it was odd the way that Jermaine did it, like a day or three, whatever it was, after getting back from Indianapolis. But all that said, I mean, guys are gonna transfer. It's just what it is anymore, y'all. I mean, there's nothing that can be done about that. And Brock Vandagriff had been committed to Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley. I can't remember if he left. He excuse me. He was committed to Lincoln Riley in Oklahoma, and that was, I'm trying to remember when that was. Maybe at the end of 19, but just before COVID, he flipped to Georgia, and I got a lot to see of Brock Vandagriff because that year there wasn't really much you could go cover, so I covered a lot of Prince Avenue. He's an exceptionally gifted athlete. I mean, I'm not sure there's a more gifted athlete in the Southeastern Conference in terms of football players. I mean, this guy can do a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know where he's going to go. I don't think a place like Auburn is out of the question. I don't think that, I don't know, but he is super gifted. I mean, Florida, Auburn, anywhere that doesn't have a quarterback should be ready for Brock Vandagriff to possibly come on scholarship. Now, what does that mean for Georgia? We'll just see. And this book right here just goes to show you can't ever tell with quarterbacks. This is of the few Double Dawgs I have left of Stetson Bennett that are signed. Pick it up today so I can get it to you before Christmas, or, well, before I run out of them, which is very likely at this stage. Again, I think it means that Carson Beck is coming back. I don't, we don't know that. We don't know that. So there's been two guys so far who have, that we know of as of the time that this is being recorded at 2:00 on Monday. Jefferson and Vandagriff are both in the portal. Jefferson, the defensive lineman who'd been at Georgia for 2 years. Vandagriff, this makes to me a lot of sense. I think Brock needs to play. He's been doing a lot of work. Gunner has been on campus a year, so it's not quite the same. And, you got Pigluzzi and Raiola coming in as well. Both of them very good. There's going to be a lot of discussion of Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola is really good. Ryan Pigluzzi is really, really good too. So we don't know what we don't know there. Like as a, and then you got, so the future of Georgia football will be Stockton, Pigluzzi, and Raiola trying to figure out what's going on. And, we don't know what will happen in terms of the transfer portal for guys coming to Georgia. So there's there's a lot in the air now, and as I said not that long ago, um, this is just going to become the new signing day. What was signing day is going to be transfer portal. But just recapping Brock, transferring out of Georgia. I mean, this is a guy who won the state championship his senior year, threw for more than 4,000 yards and ran for 400 with 17 touchdowns. He did a lot of damage. Generally speaking, had over 11,000 total yards in high school. That's a lot. Former 5-star kid. But Stetson came back, and that slowed Beck for a year. We'll see if Beck comes back. It looks like it to me. But the thing about where we're at right now that people need to remember is no matter the situation, Kirby Smart's going to get a quarterback. Now, that's the global point of all of this. Okay, let me rewind back to, speaking of Brock Vandagriff, of that moment in time at Georgia. Jake Fromm leaves early. Now, that was a mistake for Jake, I think. And for the program, it put the program in a bit of turmoil, too. Carson Beck comes in, true freshman. They bring in Jamie Newman. Dwan Mathis is on campus. JT Daniels comes in, and there's this guy named Stetson Bennett that's on there. Jamie Newman was one of the most sought-after transfers in the transfer portal at that time. Then JT Daniels came right after him. They sold both of those guys on being the starting quarterback at Georgia. Meanwhile, three of those quarterbacks, by the way, JT Daniels, Stetson Bennett twice, and Carson Beck didn't lose regular season games as a starting quarterback for an extended period of time. Whether you're talking about the 21 season with JT and Stetson, 22 with Stetson, 23 with Beck. This has been a good run of quarterbacks at Georgia. It's not been Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks, but it's been Heisman Trophy going to the ceremony, which is really good, by the way. Having dealt with, the Vandagriffs, I think this is the right move. I think it's too bad. I think there's always what we don't know is what the story will be, and whether you're talking about Joe Burrow or Jalen Hurts or Justin Fields or Stetson Bennett or Baker or Kyler Murray or Caleb Williams at SC. All of those guys I mentioned, transfer quarterbacks. Several of them won, I don't know who I mentioned, but Stetson and Joe Burrow won national championships. So, this is just what it is. Now, if you hate it, it might be that you're a hater. Because it's what it is, and it's been this way for some time now. If the notion is this is all ruining college football, why are so many people watching college football? I mean, we can be mad about anything. We can get mad about anything. That's just what it is. But I think for me, Brock, listen, the guy should be starting somewhere. That somewhere is not Georgia. But, that's what this is. I'm not making a judgment on it. But I think that he should be a starting quarterback somewhere in college football. I don't know where that will be. This guy would immediately be a substantial upgrade at a lot of places. I don't know the situation in a lot of schools. South Carolina could use it. Clemson desperately needs a playmaking quarterback. They have a quarterback, but he's not exceptional by any stretch. Georgia Tech, Kentucky. I don't know Kentucky's situation. Tennessee could use one. Although they have a very high-level guy as their backup too. But that's what Brock Vandagriff was. And guys just are not going to stick around for 5 years and all this stuff. If Carson Beck comes back one more year, he will pretty well be at a school about as long as you can be at a school. Stetson Bennett being the exception. But quarterbacks, I was talking with someone earlier today about quarterbacks, quarterback parents. there is no handbook for this. We don't know. There is no you know, you have a special child. Here is your handbook, and not special, you know, in like, special, super special, like very abnormally, you know, percent of the percent, because not a lot of people have SEC scholarship quarterbacks that they've raised. That's just very odd. And I have to say, I don't know Greg Vandagriff really well, but I've dealt with him quite a bit. I feel for the parents a lot in these situations. They have a talented, gifted child, and it's just not quite easy to have a talented, gifted quarterback versus if you have a talented and gifted running back or left tackle or linebacker or something else. I mean, would Lab McConkey have transferred if he were not a starting receiver at Georgia? I mean, apparently not. But I just it's the new world, and I don't think that means it's bad. But that's what's going on. Does that mean that Carson Beck's coming back? It seems like it, but we'll just have to see.